have a young man who passes away earlier this year at the age of 35 years old. He served his country in the most honorable way that anyone could serve their country, getting in one of the most elite military groups one can get into. And he also left behind a wife, two children, and had a twin brother who achieved the same thing. A feat that is not easy to do in United States Armed Forces. So the gentleman in question in this article had come back to the States after serving that time and was looking for better opportunities. We know if you served like some of us have, what that entails. That states that they just wanted more time with their family. He goes to work for Bank of America, of course, and he had to get one of the worst bosses in the world, one who is notorious for pushing all of the bankers underneath him to work 80-hour plus weeks. No one can prove that this blood clot came as a result of him working these 100 hours per week, but we cannot disprove it either. I don't know much about the banking industry, but I had heard this years ago that to even move up and be ambitious, you had to go at least 70 to 80 plus hours a week just to be considered ambitious. Look, I know some people watching this are going to have judgment about this young man whose life had been cut so tragically short. Before I go into the reasons why I am in support and solidarity of him and his family, let me say this. The thing about this American dream is that you're going to have to give up on this dream and this ideal that you have a dream job. Okay? When you're working for people in traditional jobs who care about results and see you as a number. Because those numbers, the numbers, the metrics, the algorithms, that is all that they see. They don't see a person who has a family and a life outside of that. This is why they were already called back home back to the office post pandemic, 4 days a week to work this hard. And here he is saying, hey, I'll take a pay cut of 10% in order for me to go get sleep. And that wasn't enough. Then for this company to come on all out and say, oh, the person who did this, the supervisor, was removed, but is a valued member of the company. So you're so valued for pushing someone so hard because you don't have a life, that you don't mind that your junior bankers don't have a life. Y'all have to pardon me because I don't have this background. We can all say that it's crazy to allow yourself to work 100-hour work weeks. But I ask people that even if you are going to be critical, keep this one thing in perspective. You're looking at a man, number one, who knew he was young, and number two, took into the account the economy that he's currently in. We can all sit back and self-righteously say that ain't worth it and he should have just walked away. When you have a wife at home, which we don't know if she works or not, but they are a couple, however they decide to run their household was their choice. That mounting pressure would keep someone on 100-hour per week work week. while they're looking for another job. Because to my understanding, he was looking to try to leave and was actively putting in resumes. That's what I took from this article. I'll let you all read it. I think walking away, even on 100-hour work weeks, where he was hardly seeing his family, was not easy to do because of this economy. Those watching YouTube, you hear people all of the time who walk away for their jobs. Bravo. But how many of them that walk away don't have families and only have to feed and clothe themselves? So those expenses are easier to mitigate. This man had a family, a wife that cared about him, 2 children that don't have their father anymore. Let's not kid ourselves. People will keep jobs if it means keeping a roof over their head, keeping their bellies filled, keeping their gas tanks filled. Let's have some compassion and humanity about that. I did not allow myself to scroll down and read the comments because I just don't have the heart for people's judgment of this man in this case. I am of the persuasion that most Americans who read this story, and I'm hoping they are gonna be outraged. This hustle culture, this fast moving culture we have in the United States has gone too far. No one should be working this many hours. I thought we were past the Industrial Revolution in this country, but evidently not. The corporate evolution is one that pushes people to their brink here. And while this gentleman was probably looking for himself a new job in desperation, you can imagine the frustration that he must have felt while waiting to be hired to go somewhere else. That he had to stay and deal with this. This is how bad, in my opinion, because this is my opinion, I didn't know him. I don't know for a fact that those long hours did or did not cause that blood clot. What I do know is that people are staying on jobs right now that reasonably work them to the bone. Simply because having a paycheck, having a steady income to keep your family afloat, period, in this sad economy is better than having nothing at all.